Well, hello everyone. Happy Thursday. It's almost Friday. I always feel like Thursday is this like crazy day where I finally like wake up to the fact that the week is almost over and then I suddenly need to like get all this stuff done. So it ends up being that Thursday is actually one of my most productive days. Anyway, so the topic of this video is writing networking emails, or for that matter, any kind of follow-up email that we have to do after we meet somebody. It could be after a conference, it could be after an employer presentation event that you might go to at your university on campus. It could be a job fair, it could be anything really. And it kind of covers the entire spectrum of emails that you might write in a sort of informal way to build a relationship, all the way through to the very specific emails that you would need to write after, say, an interview, right? The famous thank you note. And then the rather challenging note, perhaps a couple of weeks later, when you have to follow up and inquire about what's going on with your candidacy or whatever, if you haven't heard from them. So, there are so many of these tricky situations, and even the best of situations doesn't necessarily mean that we look forward to this business of doing the follow-up and writing the emails. Me personally, I will admit, it is one of my horrifying weaknesses to not follow up when I should and when I need to, which, by the way, is really should be within the 48 hours of the interaction. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily have to be that same day, but certainly the day after, or at the very most the day after that. Now, what happens with me is I'll sit on it and procrastinate and think about it and whatever. And of course, eventually I will write the perfect email. The perfect, always, but it's a week late. So, and I know that that's not good. Don't wait a week. You need to get it out sooner. But of course, you also need to make sure that you are saying something of value to the person who's reading that, and it's not just kind of like, okay, I gotta write something, and then you just quickly rattle off like just a very generic note. I mean, that doesn't really help either. So on this end, you can't kind of have the people who are very good at being timely and good at following the rules, but then, their communications and emails are not exactly that compelling. And so, you might end up, again, that person might not really have that much of an audience, a memorable audience either. So you kind of have to hit that sweet spot in the middle. Okay, so with that, so I'll go through some. I'm going to kind of read through some scenarios here of emails, and then we have actually done the very amazing feat of putting together a document with 18 email templates, and it really does cover pretty much any scenario that you're going to run into. And the point of these email templates is to help you get going, right? So obviously you shouldn't just copy exactly that. At the very least, please adjust things that make sense to show that it's coming from you. But we certainly understand the fear of tackling these emails, right? So like I said, I mean, if it's difficult for me, and I'm someone who, generally likes to communicate and write, I can imagine how difficult it is for people who are not necessarily good communicators, good writers, or don't really enjoy it. They're just not, that's just not their thing. And so, and then add to that, of course, if it's, some of our candidates are not mother tongue English, right? So their native language is not English. A lot of international students really struggle with this, right? Because not only is it that this is a difficult art for even the English speaker to write a compelling message that will be read and remembered by another human being. But if it's not your language, I mean, that makes it, twice, 10 times as hard. And so we are very cognizant of the fact that, of course, you're going to get the advice, right, from career services saying how important it is to network and make sure that you follow up. And they're absolutely 100% right. Or you might hear from, if you're working with a career coach or a specialist who would also say something like, 80% of jobs are found through networking. 80%, right? So 4 out of 5 jobs are found through connections and building relationships and meeting people, being out there and networking. And only 20%, only 1 out of 5 jobs are found through just applying, right? Whether it's online, through job search boards or company websites or whatever, right? So just remember that statistic, and that is absolutely 100% true. It's 100% true. We have tested it out ourselves. I remember back in the day when I used to look for jobs. I mean, it is absolutely true. I don't even know if it is 20%. Honestly, I think it might be even lower, something like 10%. So this is why it's important. Now, the thing is, that it's like, okay, but how do you actually do it, right? It's a lot harder you agree with that principle and you know how important it is, but it's so much harder in reality to actually execute on a good networking strategy, the written piece. So what we're going to do is I am going to go through some scenarios, and then I'm going to read out to you some of our very wonderful emails that the team here has put together. Some of these are, actually all of them are real, that they have all been used in real life. Several of these are my own ones. So we'll do that. And then I do want to let you know that the entire document is available. So if you just go to curlynetworks.com and then documents, and then you'll go, and then there'll be like all these downloads that we make available. And this is like one of our flagship documents, which we updated this summer in July. So it's very recent and it's very comprehensive. It's a long document, some 30 odd pages, and it's got, like I said, every possible template that you would think of. So I would recommend that you get hold of the document, and I'm going to cover some of the emails, but I need to take a break here.